Do you actually make money from social media, using social media?
A lot of times it's like, everyone is so beautiful, everyone's living this gorgeous life, but you know, it's so hard when you're going through the trenches and you're seeing that, you just want to shut it off.
It can mess with your mental health too, because you get so sucked into it and you forget that, like, oh wait, that's not real life.
Welcome to the Ladies of Influence. I am sitting here with the amazing Shirley and the amazing Erica, and I'm really excited to talk very honestly about social media and building a business. We are all founders, we are all makers, we are all builders and dreamers. Raise your hand if you hate social media.
Oh, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Already getting real.
I want to know how you used it to launch your biz and what you love and what you hate about it.
Okay, well, I started in 2014, I think, when Instagram was just taking off, right? Everybody was, oh, okay, from Facebook, Twitter. Actually, it was Twitter and then Instagram.
So what did you guys do to build your businesses? How did you implement social media? How did it help your businesses grow?
Yeah, my business was pretty much based in social media. I started as a blog, but that was really just me posting pictures of cheese porn to all of my social media and talking about
what
it.
is cheese porn?
Sexy pictures of cheese. Cheese is sexy.
Her t-shirt.
Yep, no, my t-shirt, yes.
Loving.
Slut for cheese.
So you just posted pictures on a blog and people started going, ooh, look at the cheese.
Whew, not right away. Definitely not right away.
Okay.
But you know, honestly, so I started as a blog, but my first recipe was for baba ganoush, which is a vegan recipe.
Yes, it is.
So you know, we don't always know what our missions are right away. But once I started like really zeroing in and like getting that branding going of just like showing off the sexiest side of cheese, taking those pictures, it really started to get some traction. But I really just wanted to teach people about cheese, and I thought that the visual channel of Instagram was the best way to do it because cheese is gorgeous.
Cheese is gorgeous.
Cheese
What
is
are the
beautiful.
channels you began on?
Definitely. Well, I started with my blog, but it was going through Facebook and Instagram. Those are like those are my top two. And then I started understanding Twitter, got the hold of Pinterest, and now I'm diving into that TikTok.
Woo! TikTok.
Oh yeah.
We're going to come back to
We'll
that.
get there.
Shirley,
Bookmark.
you have to tell us. So just in case those of you don't know anybody who has a one-named Instagram handle, very jelly that on the social medias she's at Shirley. How did you do that?
I am. Well, I got into social media because of my corporate jobs and now entrepreneurship. It's always in audience development, influencer marketing, and actually product development, if you will, in media and tech companies. And so a lot of times I have to practice and test and learn. So I use myself, my own accounts, as a test subject. And that's how I built my audience. And so I want to say in 2014, I was working at a company, influencer marketing, and we had to work with Instagram directly very frequently. So I knew someone at Instagram, and I wish I had a better story, but that's how I got.
It's okay, it's
Shirley.
honest. And what's interesting to me is everybody comes to social media from a completely different direction.
Yep.
Because you had a blog and you knew that it was so sexy to look at cheese that you just wanted to exploit that. You had a friend at Instagram, whatever. You have a friend, I'd like to get a phone call. But I I rode hard against Instagram. I was a Twitter junkie when Twitter was very different when it had just come out. And so I built a huge following because I was on Twitter.
Twitter is all the rage.
So frequently. And then I started noticing, oh my God, beautiful cheeses and other pets and people on Instagram.
Yeah.
Fought it. How could this help my business? How could this help my business? And I honestly don't remember what flipped it for me, but
But
I
isn't
now
it so
love
interesting because Twitter, by default, it's like, okay, short characters, 140 characters, you just spit it out, whereas Instagram's so visual. So you almost have to become a different person.
Very.
It's like instead of just like text-based person, now I have to edit my photos. You know, I have to take photos and make it look beautiful and then editorial.
Do you love that, or do you dislike having to do that? Because I love that. It's sort of a way to express yourself.
Sure. I think I go through phases. I mean, some days I feel more in tune with my inner self and I would express myself. Some days I just go on a hiatus. You know, I'm just like, okay, I don't have time for this. I need a week off.
So that's not based on money coming in, that's based on you and your personal interests.
Yeah.
Definitely, I feel that hiatus. Sometimes you really just need to take a day off, and especially because there's
that's
so many
okay.
different kinds of social media. It can mess with your mental health too, because you get so sucked into it and you forget that, like, oh wait, that's not real life.
How much are you guys scheduling?
Scheduling ahead of time.
Yeah.
You know, it
So
used
that
to
you can
be-
take days off.
Yeah, totally. It used to be constantly. I used to always plan my content ahead, but more and more I've gotten a little bit more of the moment. Like I'll have categories that I want to talk about that day, but for the most part, I'm really trying to keep it authentic because I noticed like the more I scheduled, the more I planned ahead. It wasn't, you know, it was sounding a little bit influencer, a little bit blog. It wasn't really sounding like my voice and the voice that I've created, the brand I've created. Like that's why my business is successful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You just said influencer on Ladies of Influence as though it's a bad thing. Do we like being influencers? Do we hate being influencers?
I'm
How do
very
we feel
grateful about being an influencer because I have such influence over people who love cheese. It's easier for me to work with the creameries, the companies that I want to support anyway. So we'll work together. They'll send me product. I can use it in all of my events, and I'll post it about it on all my social media. So I'm giving them that kind of marketing, but these are products that I'm so passionate about anyway that I want to put in people's mouths. So it's just really cool. I can like build that relationship, but without having it to be like, oh, buy a post. You know, it's different than that.
Yeah.
I think of influencer slightly different because that's not my full-time profession.
Yeah.
You know, I build my account for experimentation, and so I can say I walk the walk, right? And so I don't depend on that for life, right? Like for revenue kind of coming in.
Right.
So when I think of influencer, I think of what can I use this platform for, not to sound cheesy, but how do you spread a good
Reference
message?
number 1. Yeah.
How do you spread a good message on a platform? You know, if you have almost the privilege, you know, the platform to say anything you want, how can you utilize that as an opportunity, right? So part of that is talking about authenticity, right? You go on Instagram, of course, it's self-selective. Whoever you choose to follow is what you see in your feed.
Right.
But a lot of times it's like, everyone is so beautiful. Everyone's living this gorgeous life. But, you know, it's so hard when you're going through the trenches and you're seeing that. You just want to shut it off.
That's why I have to say it's probably very taboo to admit as a founder, I hate social media because it's so inauthentic most of the time that we know you crafted a gorgeous picture of cheese, even though it's a gorgeous picture of cheese.
That took 45 minutes for me to edit to post, right?
I mean, making videos, from what I hear, for TikTok, I'm not in that world, and I think you said something about being on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's so much energy put into something that...
Yeah, you know, that's where I get
the
tripped up a
rewards?
lot, is that sometimes I'll put way too much energy into the actual social media content when I forget that, like, oh, wait, I'm actually running a full business here. And like that, the social media is great because it gives me exposure, it helps me reach a different audience, and it's really the reason why I was able to develop a business. But at the same time, like, that energy needs to be going into financial revenues, honestly. And that's not, like, for me, it's not really coming through social media. It's coming elsewhere. It's coming in real life.
So I want to talk about the tough stuff because you said the magic word revenue. And we want to know, because everyone wants to know, do you actually make money from social media, using social media, being on social media more frequently or less frequently? How does it work that you end up going, I have another $1.
Well, I think there are a lot of different tiers of revenue, right? Like, are you wanting to be an influencer as your full-time job? Like, that's your only source of revenue? Or are you supplementing, or is it a hobby, right? So I think depending on, you decide which one you want that to be for you, and there are different ways to make money off social media. I think the most common one you hear is pay-per-post. Right, so
Is what?
Pay-per-post.
Pay-per-post.
So brands will sponsor you. So you see hashtag sponsor, hashtag ad, right? And that's brand sponsoring you, giving you money for posting on social media. A lot of times it could be a long-term relationship. So it's not just one post, once and done, but hey, for the next 3 months, talk about our suite of products and we'll give you this rate, right? There's another way as affiliate revenue, right? And that's, I think, slightly less attractive because you don't get money up front. You have to convert. Exactly, yeah. And then the least attractive one is product exchange, right? Like free product for posting. But that's like to get your feet wet, or if you really love a brand, then you would try it out and you know, tell your audience about what you love about it. You know, it's sort of like sampling.
Yeah.
They've been doing that for years.
For a long time.
So I think I would think, you know, why do I want to get into becoming an influencer? You know, how much does revenue really mean to me?
Right.
And then decide what type of sponsorships or relationships you want to build with brands.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Erica?
Yeah, I mean, being an influencer isn't really, like I said before, it's not my main source of revenue. Like, I do sponsored content here and there, and it's fun when like somebody will pay me to develop a recipe or doing pairing developments. Like, hell yeah, like I love doing that stuff. And I love taking the pictures. It's all really great. But where being an influencer really helps me is, so I create cheese merch. Shout out to my cheese slut shirt.
Incredible.
And using social media.
Inspirational.
Exactly, inspirational, thank you. So when I sell these, I mean, I always ask people to tag me in their pictures when they get it, so when they style it, that way I can use those photos. They're showing other people where they're getting the shirt, and it's giving me more exposure. So I sell a lot of my merchandise through my social media. I do private cheese tasting events that I call Cheese Church. Where we worship Jesus, my Lord and Savior.
Wow.
Yeah, they're basically cheese tasting classes, but with a
Awesome.
fun little brand attached.
I love it. Come
but
to Jesus.
Come to Jesus, honey.
Got it in there.
But yeah, basically the way that I promote those is always through social media. So, and then honestly, my vocation in life is really just to teach people about cheese. It's why I started this account. It's why I turned it into a business.
Right.
So being able to be an influencer and just like to influence people, to inspire people to eat cheese every day, as I believe that they should.
Yeah. I think influencer is totally an overused word. If
It
I
is.
could
It
be
is.
so frank.
Because it makes you think of just like the people who are literally just on Instagram to be an influencer.
Correct.
Not to improve people's lives or enrich people's lives in any specific way. And like that's totally cool. It's like if that's your hustle, then work, do it. That's awesome.
So both of you have experienced, and I have experienced, direct revenue from posting on social media
Yeah,
at a certain
totally.
point. My business is very focused on Facebook. I serve mama entrepreneurs. Mamas live pretty much in Facebook
Yes,
these days.
Facebook groups.
Yeah. and
Which I've started to dive into a lot, as
welcome.
you know.
That's
Like
right,
growth.
because you just had a baby 5 weeks ago. What?
She is, yes.
Now you know we all live on Facebook.
Yes.
And it's a deep, dark hole that you can just live in forever. Right.
Definitely.
And I feel like we didn't honestly answer fully the whole revenue question. How directly is social media tied to your business? And I don't need percentages, but
Yeah.
can you give some sort of...
Totally. So my revenue comes from doing events, selling merchandise, and then doing marketing assistance for cheesemakers. So honestly, I could never sell my events or my merchandise without social media, and then I wouldn't have shit to do if it wasn't for social media, and I could teach cheesemakers, artisan producers, people that are in my industry how to use the platform to, you know, to their advantage. So I guess it's like 100% based on it, but it's not like it's all based on SpawnCon. You know, there's like a lot of different. It's
don't
just
know what
also
that is.
sponsored content.
SpawnCon.
Yeah, it's what like the Zoomers are calling it.
Oh my God, I thought Social Meets was cool. But
Oh no, it's adorable.
that.
That is cool. We're all on the same page.
I thought, well, how do you run two businesses and have a baby? You're gonna go crazy.
It was like the sky opened, a light shone down on me, and it was like, you are going to devote your life to cheese.